what he thinks when it comes to terrorism and how wrong-headed he is when it comes to terrorism or when it comes to victory and defeating this enemy. Check this out. Go.
There's no more important item on my agenda than going after them and defeating them. The issue is, how do we do it in an intelligent way? And our approach has been continuously to adjust to see what works and what doesn't. And what we should not do is take approaches that are going to be counterproductive. So when I hear somebody saying we should carpet bomb Iraq or Syria, not only is that inhumane, not only is that contrary to our values, but that would likely be an extraordinary mechanism for ISIL to recruit more.
All right, stop. The man is a failure when it comes to foreign policy. He is a failure when it comes to defeating ISIS. He says we keep adjusting our policy. We're not adjusting anything. We're not taking it to the enemy. When he says that carpet bombing or bombing this enemy into oblivion is counter to our values, he may not be familiar with something called World War II. See, I am convinced that with leadership like this, so-called, and even some of the top military brass, we would not have won World War II. What was World War II but all-out war? We not only targeted military targets, but mostly population centers, as did the enemy. Now, why did we do that? To bring them down, to end it as fast as we possibly could. Back then, a commander-in-chief, the President of the United States, was concerned about the casualties our military was taking. Now, we didn't start this war with ISIS any more than we started the war with Japan in World War II. ISIS is at war with us. ISIS is sending its terrorists into Europe. ISIS is trying to get into the United States. So what do you do about it? These pinprick attacks are never going to work. We don't have the capacity to do enough damage in that way. And we can knock out their leadership here and there, but that's still not going to take out their army, quote unquote, their army of terrorists. And so I suspect, ladies and gentlemen, one day we are going to blow them off the face of the earth, but we're going to take some horrific hit first. Maybe they'll attack one of our nuclear sites, as they tried to do in Belgium, which I'll get to in a minute. What will victory look like then? Well, it won't look like this, because this isn't victory. This isn't even a containment strategy. I heard Hillary Clinton say the other day, we can't contain ISIS, we have to defeat it. I hear some politicians say this is going to go on for generations. Well, why should it go on for generations? Are we not going to defeat this enemy before our children are adults? Before our grandchildren are adults? Are we not going to defeat this enemy so we can protect future generations? We'll be the first generation in American history that doesn't defeat a vile, evil enemy that will threaten our children and grandchildren. They're only getting bigger. They're only getting more powerful. They're getting their hands on these technologically cutting-edge weapons. They're trying to use weapons of mass destruction. They seek to come into our country not just to shoot up our malls, which is bad enough, not just to blow up our sports arenas, which is bad enough. They want to get to our nuclear plants. These people are serious genocidal nuts. And we can't keep relying on local law enforcement to find them or the FBI to find them and so forth. We need to go where they live, root them out, and eliminate them. That's how you win wars. That's how you've always won wars. Now, I don't know what it's going to take. We had 9/11. We've had several attacks since then. They make it abundantly clear what they seek to do, blow us off the face of the earth. The Islamo regime in Tehran is in hot pursuit of nuclear warheads to put on their ICBMs so they can threaten the United States of America. ISIS clearly is trying to get chemical and biochemical weapons, and they're trying to target nuclear sites. They tell us this all the time. They have secret cells in the United States. How do we know that? Because the FBI director told us that last year. What are we waiting for? I'll tell you what we're waiting for, to get rid of this president and this administration. That's why it's so crucial that we know with whom we're going to replace them. We need somebody who we can be absolutely certain will take this war to the enemy. It's World War III. The enemy's taking its war to Europe, it's taking its war to the United States. And let me tell you, they only have to be successful once with these nuclear power plants, or some chemical agent, or the bubonic plague, which they're trying to get their hands on. This will be an absolute, utter disaster. And as I said earlier in the program, our electrical grid is being threatened and is vulnerable. Now, Mark, you might say, shh, don't tell anybody. The enemy knows it already. The enemy is already trying to target it. Again, tomorrow's program will be a special program in which we're going to talk to the top expert in the country and discuss this as well. I was talking about the enemy targeting nuclear power plants. This isn't just theoretical. This is a fact. What took place in Brussels, I want you to hear this. I want to underscore this. Police uncovered 12 hours of footage that the jihadists filmed outside a nuclear power plant director's home. The director of the nuclear power plant. The thinking was that they wanted to kidnap the guy so they could gain entry to the nuclear power plant. The creators of the footage were those brothers, the two homicidal suicide bombers who bombed the airport. Now, what do you think they wanted to do at that nuclear power plant? Just to check it out? Just take some tourist pictures? No, they were hoping to blow it up. That's what they wanted to do. Now, think about that. Think about that. Now, armed troops have been sent to defend the French and Belgian nuclear facilities following the discovery of this footage. So here we have an enemy. It's ISIS in this instance, which clearly was targeting nuclear power plants in Belgium. It's an enemy that would love nothing more than to hit our nuclear power plants. But even if they don't get the nuclear power plants, how much more evidence does a country need that this is an existential threat? The President of the United States said yesterday, it's not an existential threat. They don't produce anything. They don't own anything. What is he talking about? These are terrorists. The fact that it's not a functioning nation state in the sense that we're used to it, they have a piece of geography that's as big as Indiana, that's as big as Great Britain. They're terrorizing the people all through that region, slaughtering them, killing them, raping them, enslaving them. But they're not just doing that. They're acquiring these weapons. They're acquiring the know-how. That's what they're doing. They're capturing weapons. Obviously, they're very effective at it, or we would have blown them off the face of the earth by now. So this is an existential threat. And the fact of the matter is, this should scare everybody. They wanted to kidnap the man who is in charge of that nuclear facility, and they would have kidnapped him. And I don't know if they would have found out about it in Belgium or not in time, so they could blow it up. Blow it up. Remember the atomic bombs dropped on Japan during World War II? Can you imagine what would have happened to this country and countries surrounding it if a nuclear power plant was effectively blown up? That's what we're dealing with. And we act like it's okay, it's another terrorist attack. It's not another terrorist attack. They're getting better and better and better at the horrible things they do and they want to do. And to me, we're eviscerating our military. We show no signs of wanting to actually defeat them. Every time somebody says what needs to be done, bomb them to smithereens. That's not who we are. Well, then who the hell are we? That's the only way to defeat them. And I know there'll be civilian deaths. I know how horrible that is. We've all had family members in World War II. You've seen the movies. They're terrible. But ladies and gentlemen, if it comes to a choice between us or them, the choice is they die and we live. And the notion that a president or a political leadership or even the military brass in some instances don't accept that, that should scare the hell out of you.